Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. I did run off and take some Panadol during that intro. I am really struggling with this persistent headache. Alright, I am gonna head towards the kitchen. Again, I kind of forgot to set the tablet up while I was out here. No! Okay, that's maybe can no. Oh God. Haha. Woo! It isn't home to help me troubleshoot it. It is just loading chat now. Keep forgetting to set the iPad up. Then again, my brain is more or less mush right now. Really struggling, but doing better than yesterday, so I will take it. Alright, first things first, I'm gonna turn the oven on. It's gonna take a while for me to... Hello! Oh, that's so sweet. I'm gonna turn the oven on 200 degrees Celsius or 390 Fahrenheit. Well, take those ones. Well, actually, I need this one first. And we need knife. Big knife. So I am going to be making 2 batches of the traditional ones, but I'm only making 1 batch on stream. So I'll be making the vegetable ones and the traditional ones on stream. But only 1 batch of the traditional ones. Because yeah, this is gonna take long enough already. And I did forget until stream was already going to give Shang mod status, but now he has it. I am using the meat chopping board because we are going to be cutting meat. I will switch to the veggie one after the roast vegetables come out of the oven. I really... brain does not want to work. I'm just going to do this similarly to how I do salad. may not be how I do salad. Like I said, my brain is really, really struggling from the headache. It is a nasty one. Yesterday, Panadol helped, but that is all it did. So, but then again, I really don't handle heat well, so. And yeah, I don't know how hot it was inside. I don't know where my fan is with all the changes we've been doing around the house and stuff like that. Yay! Caught the slipper. It's even food based. How nice is that? No, because I've only been using a couple of slices of onion. For salads lately, because the onion has been really strong. That's a bit closer. How I've been doing it. Now, this onion isn't for the roast. This is for the traditional style. So I am going for 1.5 onions because of the size of them. Okay, so there is another layer that needs removing under that one. These are very, very juicy onions, which is probably good for flavor, but peel off. And bunk them weight. Now, I did have some onions set aside, but I forgot where they were, so I went and found other onions. But at least this means we do have an extra bag, so I can clean up as I go. Now, I did ask in the Discord, but since I'm doing cooking streams now, what are some of chat's favorite Christmas foods and snacks? Like, what makes Christmas Christmas for you guys? Like, what is it not complete without? There are so many things that um, combine to make my Christmas, because we went from house to house with my dad. So we had little traditions at everyone's house. Because we were in the country, it was easier for everyone if we came and visited them rather than everyone coming to the country on most occasions. It was very, very rare for us to host other people, but at the same time, just because we weren't hosting other people didn't mean we weren't celebrating Christmas sometimes at home as well. Like sometimes we'd have Christmas at our place and then go out Boxing Day, to visit all the friends and family. And a big reason why I value Boxing Day is because it did give you that chance to spend time with immediate family, and then it meant that you could have time with friends and family on the other day of Christmas, which is how Christmas was intended. Whereas now there are so many people who have to go in and work on Boxing Day. It is not funny. And it's not even, all emergency sort of work. I can understand, nurses and doctors, and even though it's probably not pleasant for them either, I'm not trying to imply that, it's nice for them. My mum actually works in a nursing home, so but at the same time, like that's an essential service that you can't close down. Whereas there are a lot of non-essential things opening up on Boxing Day now. I'm gonna do this one, but it is gonna get stuck on its plastic bag. So let me remove that. Not a whole onion, but It is a pretty big onion, so. Okay, next. I guess we will potatoes. So, has anyone else had Pirags or pierogi? I don't actually know the difference between Pirags and pierogi. If there are differences, like I said, this is based on a Latvian food, but it might be common through other parts of Europe as well. I don't want to make them too small. I also don't want them too big, but I'm gonna go get a bit of paper towel. Into the big one. You've never had it before, but you're not European, so it makes sense. Yeah. So it's not part of Australian Easter as such, but because my aunt and uncle, or my parents, my dad's friends, were from the UK and Latvia, it became part of our family's Christmas. So while Australia did take on a lot of European or UK Christmas and other holiday traditions, we also changed them a bit. So, like, my parents' generation did grow up eating roast for Christmas because that was the traditional UK Aussie settler sort of thing to do, even though Australia is, oh god, it's hot at this time of year. um, and eventually we decided that, roast doesn't really make sense. So don't get me wrong. I still do roast chicken, but I buy it, and most of the time, by the time we get around to eating it, it's cold. It goes really well with salad, which I love salad. I still do ham off the bone, except I buy it from the supermarket and I buy it completely boneless. I don't like bones in my meat. But then I do the Aussie thing and I have prawns and stuff like that as well. So Sid isn't a big seafood fan. So alright, I'm gonna oh, ad break. I am peeling parsnips. Prawns would be really good right now. Yeah. We don't have them yet. I'm not getting them until probably the weekend. Although having said that, it's nearly the weekend. But yeah, I will wait until. So we normally get our deliveries on Wednesday, but maybe we get one a little bit earlier, and we get some prawns with that. I am getting a seafood salad from the place that we get our chickens from. But yeah, since I am the only one other than our cat that that really enjoys prawns, that's in the house. My parents are coming Boxing Day, so that will just be these nibbles that I'm making now, sort of thing. So spring rolls and pirags and stuff like that. Okay, this is a very woody parsnip. This knife should not have trouble. This knife is very sharp. So hopefully the ones Sid got for me are a bit better because I'm really worried about this one. um, I don't remember crayfish. I think like all seafood has its own sort of taste. Um, yeah, I'm really not holding out this parsnip. Um, I'm glad Sid got more. I'm really glad Sid got more because this thing is the woodiest parsnip I have ever had anything to do with. Yes, so basically it is a very, very woody parsnip. So the center can be woody in parsnips. Um, and yeah, I mean, probably not the right time of year for parsnip, considering it is a like soup and stew vegetable mostly and roast. And these ones didn't go in the crisper, so they look a little bit worse for wear, but they should be. I'm just really hoping they turn out because they have a completely different flavor than just about every other thing that you roast. And I love roast parsnip. Because we're not eating these as roast vegetables exactly. They are going to be a filling. Just you get more flavor from roasting the vegetables versus any other way of cooking them. I could be wrong, but this one really doesn't feel as. Although that could also be because it's not. Not as large and round. I'm probably going to rinse my knife out and sharpen it a little bit before I continue with these, just because it might have got a little bit damaged from that other parsnip. I guess damaged isn't the right word, but a little bit. Now, after you've sharpened it, it is important to give it a good wash, but obviously you can't put a dirty knife in the knife sharpener either. But you want to make sure that if it has lost any like metal filings, that you're not putting those into your food. Okay, this one isn't great either. Which means this one probably won't be either. It's probably the time of year, maybe the supplier. Like the weather could have had stuff to do with it. I really don't know. But yeah, no, I don't remember ever having parsnips as woody as any of these. I've had like woody parsnips, but this is a whole nother level. And yeah, because these two weren't stuck in the crisper vegetables, they did get a little bit soft and harder to peel. Normally they peel just like carrots, so yep. Okay, that one wasn't quite as bad, but it was not good. Trying to be as safe as possible with this knife while really, really... Okay, that wasn't too bad. But yeah, really, really struggling because of... Thank you, Shang. The shout out command is see, as in go see this person. No, SEE. Yes. ESO is linked to the automatic one that happens from raids. Thank you. Can you please shout out Jamie Blazer while you're here as well? Thank you. Yeah, I almost forgot. I started stream and I'm like, oh, I didn't give Shang your sword. Thank you very, very much. It definitely helps to have a mod in chat while I am unable to do this bit myself. It's a bit different when I'm at my computer playing games and I can actively, you know, touch stuff that isn't food. I hope your Assassin's Creed and Once Human went well. So these ones aren't particularly thick carrots. Yeah, you can see how much easier the knife is handling the carrots than the parsnips. So yeah, I don't know why the parsnips are not so good at the moment. Just hoping, really hoping that they still taste good. Even if we can only use the outer bit and not the center of them when we cut them for cooking, but we'll see. Maybe the 1.5 hours that they spend in the oven will tenderize it and soften it up, but I'm not going to hold my breath. Are you kidding me? Oh, is that why you stopped and switched to Assassin's Creed? Okay. Yeah. I think the Panadol has at least started to help, but I had very bad heat-related, speaking of, time to down some Powerade and water, very bad heat-related symptoms yesterday, and the headache has stuck around. So it makes me kind of glad that I can't hear redeems, but you guys can still use them. Because yeah, I can barely handle noise at the moment. But at least I could do stuff that at least I can do stuff that I definitely couldn't yesterday. Unfortunately, all the cleaning and everything got put off. I could not life. That's about good. All right, now on to the pumpkin. Pumpkin is absolutely horrible. So be very careful because of its thick skin. It is relatively dangerous. Then again, so will those parsnips. I'm gonna take that out and move the knife a bit further in. I think we should probably only need about half a pumpkin. I will be removing seeds as I go. It's going to be easier. So the other thing is that because the bottom of the pumpkin isn't flat, Whereas when I first started, it was flat. It is going to try and slip. That works better. Yeah, so just be really, really careful. Like, my mum has come close to doing herself some injury while cutting pumpkin. And obviously, my parents are a little bit more experienced than I am due to age differences and stuff like that. Although, to be fair, mum probably hasn't had a lot to do with pumpkin. I don't think pumpkin, at least of this kind, is something that you find very frequently in the Philippines. So I don't know if maybe the skins and stuff are different on any pumpkin they might have and use over there. Then again, the last time I was over there, vegetables are really, really expensive. It's almost like buying meat. Really. Thank you, Jamie Blazer. Really, really, really careful. Yeah. Like I said, in every cooking stream I've done, I am not a professional. I don't even want to think of what chefs would say about the way I use my knives. I try, but also, like, the way I am using my knife might not work for someone else. So yeah, just be aware of your limitations as well in the in in the kitchen. If you're not comfortable, like, cutting a carrot or something like that, don't try cutting a pumpkin. In Australia, we can buy pre-cut pretty much most vegetables. Yes, I do hope that you have fun at work, Jamie Blazer, and you don't have to deal with a whole heap of not so great people. Going into Christmas and everything, a lot of businesses have so many all right, now that is the majority of the vegetables. I do need ow. Now that was bad of me. I had my hands under that and clawed. I didn't do a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. But here I am preaching safety and being a little bit unsafe, although, it wasn't life-threatening or anything like that. I was not doing that with knives and stuff like that that can drastically hurt you. Yeah. It's crazy because I cut my nails like before I did the scones, um, so that my nails would be shorter while I was playing around with dough and stuff like that. And they're just growing back so quickly at the moment. If I didn't have like a decently extended amount of nail, that wouldn't have been as bad. Okay, now I am not chopping this garlic. I am just squishing it again with garlic, same as the pumpkin. Be really, really careful if you choose to squish it. It is gonna. It is supposed to like do a better job of spreading the flavor and stuff like that, but you can just I mean, these days, Shang, you never know. Some people do stupid things and unsafe things for the fun of it. Um, or they copy something that someone else is doing, and um, you're not wrong, because yeah, there was a lot of slapstick comedy when I was growing up, but um, there wasn't people being absolutely ridiculously stupid intentionally, and at least not as commonly and known. Right. So yeah, doing this with garlic is supposed to help release the juices. But if you do feel uncomfortable, just stick these things whole in there. I mean, you're not wrong, because otherwise we wouldn't know what fire was. All right. So there's a couple of cloves of garlic. I am again going to wash the knife and my hands. Oh, so sticky. I love garlic, but the stickiness of when you expose the juices is not fun. Now I am going to need the chopping board for meat. Now, to be fair, that is why it is the red chopping board. I'm gonna dampen. That might be a bit too damp, but some paper towel. Just give it a once over. Now, keep in mind that paper towel is compostable. We can stick that in with the vegetable stuff. And these bags are also compostable. They can go in the green bin. Now, I'm gonna hydrate again while we're on break still. Sorry about the clicking while I rubbed stuff and moved the microphone a little bit. All right, we are back. All right, we have some rosemary as well as the garlic. All the veggies. Salt. Pepper. And oil. I can move that over here. And I forgot to plug the phone in again. Ugh. Gonna need it. Just sorry about the fingers. Oh, it was on 35%. Right. Gonna mix the oil, salt, pepper, rub the garlic and the rosemary a little bit over the vegetables and get them oily, obviously. As you can see, my hand is now covered with oil, but that's okay. You can use gloves for this if you want. Get some baking paper. Okay, I might be able to get 2 trays side by side in the oven. Because yeah, there's definitely too much for one tray. Something I didn't consider when I was going to be doing it because I don't roast very often. There is still. Right, I'm gonna grab this one and take it over to the stovetop and wash my hand and grab another tray. I'll rinse my hand rather. I am so glad I took a break because my back is already trying to kill me. So I'm really glad I didn't try doing it today. Not that I could have, but oh, need to sit. Yeah, I'm not holding my breath for those parsnips. I'm really not. As I'm pulling them out of here, it's let me grab the garlic. Drizzle some more of that oil everywhere. Now I'm going to go and drizzle some of that oil. I'm going to keep some of it because I'm going to stick the onion in it that we have put aside for the roast vegetables. So the onion doesn't go in at the same time because of the cooking times. And I used the wrong bowl. Oh well. It is what it is. Okay. Fully washing this time because I don't plan on sticking my hands back in the oil for a bit. Oh boy. There it is. All right. I am gonna turn this that way a little bit while I stick these in the oven. Now, like I said, I am doing two versions. My aunt, who was the reason that we know about Pirags, had a vegetarian daughter. Time for 30 minutes. So she couldn't eat the traditional Pirags. So my aunt decided that was going to make a vegetarian version. Now, I don't know if it's vegetarian. Obviously, I haven't added anything that's going to be a problem. All I've added so far is vegetables, vegetable oil, salt, pepper. Not healthy to hold your breath anyway. Oh, and it is if you're swimming. Think we'd rather hold our breath than drown. That is for later. That is done with. That is done with. Oh god. Getting the bacon out of. Like I said, we're doing 2 batches of the bacon ones, just not at the same time. So we're getting the big scales out now. And hoping that I've got batteries in these. That is on ground. That is nice. We'll stick those over there for now. I might need some to deal with rubbish and stuff later, so now I did get this pre-smoked, or at least I hope we did. What I ordered, 300 grams. Well, 360 something. From my angle, I can't overly read that. $531. Did I just get that bang on 500? I did. Oh my god, I am a genius. Unintentional genius. Now, I'm temporarily putting that back in there because while I will be cutting that as well, I don't want to mix them up. Now, it's going to be a little bit difficult because I want that bowl empty, but I need somewhere to cut as well. I'm getting some paper towel to stick that on for now. So yeah, we need 500 grams of bacon. I prefer the smoky taste. I don't know if that's traditional or it's not. But it adds to it for me. The bacon fat is going to be required. As much as I hate fat, the bacon fat is needed for this. I mean, at least the Pokemon community game let you catch something today. It's not nice that, you know, it's being a bit nasty, but we've known it to be nastier. So this is rindless bacon. I did get it with the rind removed as well. And we're just cutting it up into little squares. And that is going to reduce even further as well, as meat shrinks when it cooks. It's not it's not something you have to be overly precise about. The bacon pieces can be slightly different sizes, but they do need to be relatively small. Um, Again, be careful when you're cutting. Don't stick stuff on the oven, like tea towels and stuff like that, when you're using the oven. Just few little safety precautions when you're cooking. Ed is heading home. Yay! Hopefully it was some iced coffee for the kitten so that I can, or he could be getting that at like close to Coles to try and help me fight this headache. I've drunk Powerade, I've drunk water, I've been drinking everything that I should. And yes, a couple of things that maybe I shouldn't. I did have a can of vanilla Coke no sugar yesterday. That was my source of caffeine for the day. I have not had any caffeine today because I've been busy trying to hydrate and make sure that I'm not dehydrating myself. But yeah, no, I thought like either you'd have it on you or you'd go to alcohols. Um, Forgot that you are having slightly different hours today as well. Not that I could have done anything any differently or sooner or whatnot. Um, by the time I got everything into the dishwasher and the dishwasher actually finished, it was pretty much at least 3:30, and I started streaming at 4 because it took a little bit to get everything ready after it had finished washing, and then there was the tech side of it. Now, the reason I'm making two batches of the traditional is because it doesn't matter if it's me cooking them or my aunt cooking them, they basically disappear as soon as you put them out. They are that good and that addictive. Then again, who doesn't love bacon? I was kind of hoping to have these done before Sid got home. Um, Now, keep in mind that both the vegetables and this meat mix are going to have to cool down before I can stick them in the dough. It's part of the reason I haven't started on the dough yet, because that gives me something to do while everything is happening. And again, it says sift flour. I can't sift the flour. Teach me not to read any more than the ingredient list. Short ad break. Okay, I am just doing the same thing. I am just cutting bacon at the moment. I'm not gonna start new stuff while we're on a break, but No, I know we're still in the outbreak. Again, you can buy things like bacon pieces and stuff like that from most supermarket delis. I wouldn't recommend doing that for this. I don't trust the quality of those bacon bits. And another reminder, so those vegetables that I've cut and prepped, however long that took. Okay, so we've been going for almost an hour and a half, but some of that has actually been the bacon now. Those vegetables are going to take an hour and a half to cook on their own. Although I am going to need to toss them around and add some other stuff and whatnot. The dough is going to take time. The bacon mixture, while not going to take long to cook, does need to cool before I can do anything with it. Just a reminder to everyone who is not used to doing this sort of thing, please be very, very thankful to your hosts and whoever is preparing your Christmas feast. Same goes for Thanksgiving, that we don't really celebrate in Australia, but please understand the time, effort, energy, and love that they have put into providing a meal for you. So if I was, well, I will be. I plan to anyway. So we are buying the roast potatoes, but I plan to roast some other vegetables for Christmas. As like, if I was just doing a roast, those veggies I would still need to cook for the same amount of time. God knows about the chicken. I don't know if I've ever roasted a chicken. But yeah, everyone who thinks that spending 20 minutes cooking is rough, preparing a whole feast takes a lot longer than that. I will wash the chopping board in between this batch and the second batch. I don't even know if I'll do the second batch today, honestly, the way I'm feeling. It definitely needs to get done soon, but I still have to cook the wannabe pansy because I didn't do that yesterday or the day before. I'm just gonna grab that. Ow. And who do I need a drink right now? I'm just gonna quickly finish off the rest of my Powerade while I here for a second and breathe. And I do realize that I slightly messed up. I got all these bowls out for the ingredients and don't really have anything but a massive one left over for the dough. So, right. Okay, I'm gonna figure out how to see chat while I'm doing this. Okay, I'm gonna unplug the iPad. It's at 100%, so I should be fine. It's supposed to be that. Okay. We got 4 minutes until the roast veggies have to come out and get tossed and then have the onions stuck in with them. So I'm gonna wait for that. Hydrate. Thank you, Alistair. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome in. I hope you're doing well. Whew. Can I go and kind of wet my nose and then blow my hands while we're waiting for the veggies? In a room that is not the kitchen because the kitchen is warm. Kitchen and be very warm right now. Okay, that is where the oven mitt is. Some tongs. 2 minutes. Alright. Hi! I moved the pan off the stove and I just nudged the handle. I might actually go and grab the other glove as well because I might need both. Probably a good idea. I hope you are getting lots of nice cold weather, Alistair. I know you prefer the cold to the heat. Just about 1 minute. Gives me a second to rest as well, which is drastically needed at this point. All right. The timer is about to go off in a few seconds, so I'm trying to not cover the camera, but also get some of that oil in there. Okay. There. Go and grab the mitts, which are right behind me, and I've lost them. Okay, oven open. One tray back in. Two tray back in. And timer set for 30 Grab some water. Bring the frying pan back. Turn the correct element on. Eat some vegetable oil. Think it needs oil. I'm not entirely certain. It probably doesn't so much. Because the bacon is gonna give a fair bit of that grease off, but I wanted to start with the onion before I put the bacon in. A little bit. And grab a different pair of tongs. That was probably a bit too much oil, especially since these are really good being non-stick pans. This one is a few years old. We have got some newer stuff, but it is not good quality, unfortunately. Just spreading that oil out and testing what the temperature of it is. Okay, while I'm waiting for that to heat up, I'm gonna rinse that bowl out because I'm probably gonna need it. It had all the oil in it and stuff. I'm gonna need something to do the dough in. I also don't need the meat chopping board until later, maybe even tomorrow. And I am done with the big knife. Okay, that feels pretty warm. I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. I did have it a bit higher so that it would. Okay, it is not as hot as it seemed. I can hear it sizzling now though, so it's not gonna sit too long. I can't get all of that out. Now the reason I did 1.5 onions was for ratio. Oh, don't touch the stove. because the oven is on. The whole stove is hot, being metal. Okay, so what does it really say about? So add salt and pepper as we go. Now it says add to taste. That is not quite correct. For the pepper, you have to seriously over season for Pirags, because the pepper is supposed to come through, and for the majority it just cooks out. So basically my rule, that's the wrong tongs, I grabbed the vegetable tongs. My rule is basically add it until you think you've got enough, then add some until you think it's a crazy amount, and then add some more. And I'm sorry, because I do know the bowl is directed at the camera, but there's not much I can do about it until everything is out of it, based on our stove direction, our PowerPoints and stuff like that, like how I've got the stream set up, that's where I need the camera to be. Don't touch the stove. So you don't want it going crispy, but you do want the bacon to cook. It should, because the fat is included as well, become a smaller, more manageable amount. I'm losing little bits of onion here and there, but I'd rather lose bits of onion than bits of bacon. Now, the thing about it being smoked is there will be a bit more saltiness to it. I'm going to turn it back up, actually. It's now on 5 for our electric stove. That doesn't mean it's 5 for everyone's electric stove. This stove definitely a bit questionable at times. And a bigger pan would have helped, but I need the wok for later, and I didn't realize it or remember that it was quite this much. So I was missing these so much, and it didn't feel like Christmas without them. It still doesn't feel like Christmas without them, but not being able to really do anything the last year or two meant that I haven't cooked these in quite a while. Okay, it was only onion. Yeah, I really didn't need the oil, especially so much of it. So note, next time do not put oil in. Or if you're cooking at this or planning to cook these at home, do not use the oil. Okay. Adding a little bit of salt. Like I said, for the most part, the fact that it's smoked bacon will help. Adding an F ton of pepper. You would be surprised how much that cooks out during this cooking process and the baking process. Probably actually need to add more pepper. Looking at how this mix is looking when I'm stirring it. Because like I said, the pepper taste is supposed to come through, and it does cook out in both cooking processes. Yeah, that smells pretty good. I don't know. Like I said, with how long it's been since I cooked them, that might still not be enough. I was not joking when I said about when you think you've put too much, add more. Um, okay, I did just lose a little bit of bacon. Oh, oh, I can smell this now. And yeah, I am gonna the bowl that the bacon was in, and I will put the cooked bacon back in there, so that it cools a little bit better than if it was left in the pan. Something I ended up doing with the vegetables from the spring rolls, I ended up sticking them in another Tupperware container sort of thing, and putting them in the fridge because they just were not cooling. as you can see, it has shrunk considerably. It is much easier to move around the pan. We are still losing a little bits here and there, as is going to happen, but alright, I'm gonna go wipe my nose. Oh, I am not used to standing like this. I definitely need to get back in shape. With not being well, it hasn't helped. Alright, now that it's pretty much finished cooking, I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and some more pepper. Not a lot this time, but just try and replenish some of that stuff that has cooked out, because I did leave it in there longer than I thought we were gonna. Turn that off. Temporarily moving it to another hot plate. I'm not gonna try and move that over while it's still sizzling. Definitely need to hydrate. Okay. Moving the iPad back onto the table. And giving up on it sitting like it's supposed to. Leaning up the table a little bit. Okay. Moving that back there. That back. I don't know if I can do any better than that. Okay, so what do we need? Need flour. So we need 500 grams of flour. All right. So we grab the scale back out. So that's probably 2 cups, but or at least 2 Australian cups. But it says to use grams, then we're going to use grams. Now, like I said, it does say to sift this. But we don't have a sift. Again, this one is plain flour as opposed to what we have been using, the self-raising, and it is really stuck. All right, I know we have things here, so I'm just gonna give that a quick rinse because it hasn't been used in forever, and looks like a bit of a clean. So yeah, if you haven't used tools in your kitchen or dishes or stuff like that, they can still get regular dirt on them, even sitting in cupboards. So if you haven't used stuff for a while, give it a quick once over. It's probably gonna hurt less than if you don't. Love this home. Thank you. 26. I'm gonna make sure that's not including all the random little bits that are dropping. Okay. I kind of need it hot, but yeah.
Honestly, you know, I've cracked the front door as well to try and help like ventilate a little bit. And yeah, I hatched a Hundo costume Pichu.
Nice.
So pretty much where it's like my account now. Do you want this in the fridge?
Yes, please. I won't be able to drink it until after stream.
And also work didn't have ponzu, so I'll rest tomorrow.
Oh yeah, no. Neither had ponzu.
I wasn't sure because like I looked and they had all the brands. Didn't have ponzu.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah. No, neither had it listed anymore, sadly. Okay, there is 500 grams of flour. Now, this is where it gets complicated. 150 ml of milk. I will need that again. It is time to play with the veggies again. I'm gonna do that off camera. Just like I've got to deal with the stove and the oven and everything. Bit difficult now that bit more difficult now that the oh god. Um Top of the stove. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, now back in the oven for 30 minutes. And keep in mind that when the oven opens, steam comes out. Whew. Alright, I need to blow nose. Which means I need to go into the bathroom and wash my hands there so that I don't boil sit alive. For some reason the bathroom tap doesn't affect the shower as much as the kitchen one. Alright, so we are going to use this milk instead of the one I've got in the fridge, which is the same brand and everything, but the one in the fridge is cold. Okay. We need 150. Okay. The bubbles are making it hard, but I'm pretty sure that's 150 ml of milk. Now we need to microwave that on high for 30 seconds according to the instructions. Now the thing is, oh, That'll be problematic. Okay. So when it's to 27 minutes, when it gets to 26 minutes, I'll stop it, microwave for 36 seconds, and then, yeah. Because the timer is currently on the microwave. Okay, no, it is getting to 27, not 26. This is actually part of the reason I got it. It's not actually, I didn't actually get it for meat, I don't think. Six, 30. Now, it needs to be 37 degrees. That is not 37 degrees. That is 45 degrees. Or more. That is currently 54. So we need to wait a little bit for the milk. And I don't think we can progress without that. But I can get that ready. So we need 2 teaspoons of sugar. I mean, to be fair, I can add the sugar. I just can't add the yeast yet. So sugar helps yeast grow. But yeast only grows at certain temperature. Too hot and it will kill it. Too cold and it won't grow. Now, of course, adding stuff that isn't hot is going to help it cool down, but that's still sitting at 47 and it needs to be 37. So it's dropped by about 3 degrees. So basically yeast grows at blood temperature. It does not explain what blood temperature is, and I doubt I have it something so low. No. So it's approximately 37 degrees Celsius. While we're waiting, I am gonna move the bacon mixture into the other into the bowl out of the pan. Just taking it a bit nearer the breeze. Since the kitchen is really, really hot from the oven. Kitchen is close to, if not 30 degrees by itself. So I should have taken that into account when I heated the milk. No, the kitchen is about 23. I don't know why it was going up higher. Or maybe it's just the areas. Okay, that's got down to 44. So we got these little yeast packets. They are the right amount of, or they should be the right amount. 115 gram. What? 15 grams? They've shrunk the sachets. In that, or I didn't realize, or maybe I always, like I said, it's been a while. So we're going to need 2 sachets, not just the one that is listed. So it's a good thing I got a lot extra, thinking that I was going to have to make a fair bit of dough. So there's supposed to be about 15 grams. And it's going to be 14 grams. What else do we need to do? In a little bowl, we need to count. I'm going to get the other scale because this is smaller amounts. Again, haven't used this bowl in a while, so I am going to just give it a once over. I'm not going to run any water, but the thing I'm using is quite moist. The and it has got soap. So thing is, we're gonna want the butter to cool as well. I will use the vegetable chopping board. Okay, so how much butter do we need? We need 200 grams. $100, $200, $300, $400, $500. Okay. Now, of course, we are gonna cube this. Come on. Because the butter is also going to have to be at room temperature. The butter and the milk that we add to it. So the milk that we add to it, we're not going to heat up. It's a different batch of milk. In its liquid state, this is going to take up a lot less room. We'll be getting coffee delivered tomorrow, but probably, yeah. Okay, there is the 200 grams of butter. Now, Sloth saying he should have got coffee, he means his coffee. And again, oh god. Alright. So it's 12:40. No, by the time I stick it in, because the door doesn't do it. That's 12:30. That is 11. No, that's 12. That's 11:30. And the butter is mostly melted. And probably much hotter than blood temperature. I don't think it's even wise to stick a thermometer in there at the moment. I am gonna reclose the back door. Hopefully a tip didn't go out, but she probably did. Try and keep some of this heat in here for the yeast. Yeah, well, I haven't fully closed it. If she bangs at it, I will know. But I'm at the bit where I need the house warm. Yeah, most of the butter is melted. We're just swirling the rest of it around. Melt the rest of it. I heard something. It was not a tip, it was just the door moving. So the good thing is I still have a while for this because the yeast has to grow in that before we add this bowl to the You were wearing your new shoes, weren't you? Yay! It's 37 or 38. Close enough. I can now add the yeast to this and cover it. I do need to mix that as well though. Aren't we glad that there is self-raising flour and that for the most part we don't have to do this very often. Okay, glad wrap. All right, I am going to move that closer to the oven so it stays roughly at that temperature. Okay. So I might be able to cheat a little bit. Two-thirds of a cup or thereabouts is 150 milk. So yeah, we might not be making the dough for the vegetable which means we will only be wrapping the traditional ones today. But again, same as the spring